Good morning, Michelle Saxman here, and ready to share with you some time with Jesus Calling by Sarah Young on February the 7th. And we are not going to do any of the reading from the book by Sarah Young. I absolutely just have my notes and my takeaways. And so for this one, rest. Another reminder that rest is a form of trust, a time for us to step away, to stop the planning, the controlling, and the grasping. And another one of my favorite things I like to say, the universe is unfolding for my benefit, even when it hurts, trusting that mountains are moving. There is a detour set up ahead. So the universe is unfolding into a pattern for His goodness, for He knows the plan He has for us, the plan to prosper us. So acknowledging things are changing, patterns are going to be unfolding for our benefit. And a reminder again that the culture is about earning and deserving, and the kingdom is about believing and receiving, accepting these circumstances. You guys, accepting, letting go and letting God, emptying our hands, accepting the gift of this day, accepting the circumstances, and trusting and resting, bringing ourselves back. You guys, I have had to do so much diaphragmatic breathing in, imagining my lungs are kind of massaging the top of the adrenal glands. I'm actually taking some ashwagandha and some GABA. I got to brush off all of this cortisol and adrenaline that is on my cell receptors so I can be creative and receptive to the gift and the peace that He wants to give us. The more we resist, the more it will persist. Force will be met with force. So laying down. And I do appreciate in the Bible, iron sharpens iron, but we're not always called to sharpen. We are called to accept and to receive. So the only way to navigate in this time, space, continuum, as long as we are in this earthly form, to be in this world but not of this world, is our next breath and our next step. And that happened a few days ago. It was last week on Tuesday that my dad was in the hospital, and the reading was about the next step. Actually, I think it was on Wednesday, the next step. And I just had to say, what's the next step? What is most in front of me in this room, physically in the room that I'm in? What's the next thing I have to do? Not letting the brain train run too far ahead of me. And I also like in this reading today about an assignment, and to think about us being in school, in training, and coming with a teachable spirit. This is not a one and done. This is every single day. There is a lesson and a blessing. And my final takeaway for this one is against the grain. And I think about a piece of wood, and the culture is very much with the grain. And when we are with the grain, we're going to be kind of primed. Again, I talk about in our neurochemistry, in our default neuro setting, in our human form, in utero, in our mommy's belly, in the tummy. I call it the mama drama. That neurochemistry transfers over to the baby, and then we begin to experience levels of fear and trauma very young in our human form. No blame, no shame, just what happens in this time-space continuum in human form. And so what we need to learn to do, again, the culture says we're going to be primed, but we are invited in this school, in this spirit of training, to go against the grain, to kind of stop that brain train, a journey of self-awareness, catching ourselves when the train is running down the tracks, about to derail, pulling ourselves back, breathing in His powerful presence, determining what is the next step that He has planned for me, not that I have planned for me. So the culture is going to run toward fear, control, complaining, the default neurochemistry. We are called to the extraordinary, against the grain. We are in training to swim upstream. So the readings for today, the first one is Romans chapter 8, verse 28. We are assured and know that God, being a partner in their labor, all things will work together and are fitting into a plan for good for those who love God and are called according to His design and plan. All things are unfolding for our benefit, even when it hurts. His plan, His ways are so much greater than our ways. The final reading is Psalm chapter 42, verse 5. Why are you in despair, O my soul? And why have you become disturbed within me? Hope in God, for I shall again praise Him for the help of His presence. My greatest takeaway on this one, self-awareness, asking ourselves the questions, where am I? So I'll put the link, I don't know if it's in this corner or this corner, to Quadrant Living. You guys, I am so frequently in this season right now. Where am I? When he asked, where are you, in Genesis, and then several times in the Gospels when Jesus asked, what do you want of me? This is in Psalms, in the Old Testament. Why are you in despair? Why are we breathing like this? Breathe in his powerful presence. Trust in the Lord. Hope in God. So that reading in Psalm is really about this journey of self-awareness, self-assessment, asking yourself, putting ourselves in proper order and realigning. And again, the month of February, making sure my heart, the seat of the soul is anchored in his presence, so that the mind, when the brain train gets to running away, I have the power to pull it back and into his hands. So y'all have a super blessed day. Stay connected to the vine, and I will talk to you soon.